Joining me now, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. Karine, welcome back to the Sunday Show.
Still have a little popcorn.
Yes, you took a little bit of my pop from the intro. But it also, well, let's talk about this thing that was shot out of the sky over Canada. What is something Americans should worry about?
So let me just lay out for the American people. So what happened was, out of an abundance of caution, and by the recommendation by the militaries for President Biden and Prime Minister Trudeau, an unauthorized mentioning was taken in the airwaves in the North America airspace. And so what happened was it had been monitored by NORAD over the past 24 or more years. And then what the president decided to do, he authorized the M20 down. It came down Canadian territory. So we did it in conjunction with Canada. And so we wanted to, the president took this action. We wanted to make sure that the promise is we're always going to track, we're always going to detect, and we're always going to should expect.
Curious to know, why is the American military shooting something out of the sky over Canada?
Because it's part of NORAD. There is the NORAD is part of it's a what you call a coalition. Of course, again, we didn't do it we did it clearly in step with Canada.
About the Chinese spy balloon, it's reported that multiple antennas have been found in the debris that may have been capable of collecting
So the Department of Defense really is running this process, and they are going to be updating us as time goes by. As you just mentioned, it was the Chinese surveillance balloon was taken down about a week ago, this past Saturday, because the president wanted to make sure that first civilians were safe, but in a way that we would be able to collect information to let us know what was taking an analysis so we know what this object was. There was a significant amount of debris that was on the ocean floor that's being dredged up, taken out of abilities. But I certainly get ahead of the military. I don't want to get ahead of an intelligence community, and they are going to be updating us as time goes by.
Okay. Switching gears, an FBI search of Vice President Mike Pence's home this week found one more classified document. Will it conduct additional searches of President Biden's homes or offices?
So, as you know, you had my colleague here
from
here a couple weeks ago from the White House counsel's office, something that lives there, and they certainly are dealing with this issue. To say, which matters to the president, is that when it comes to the Department of Justice, they are an independent. We are very different than the last administration. We want to make sure that their independence is brought back to the Department of Justice. So we just don't comment on any investigation that are currently happening. It doesn't matter, consistent about that. So we'll leave it there, not comment about it, and let the Department of Justice do their job. Okay, fine, but I'm going to still ask this next question. Okay, go ahead. What's the White House's reaction to ABC News' reporting that last month Trump's legal Mar-a-Lago residence, and this one may have been duplicated onto an aide's computer? Come on. Department of Justice. I'm gonna give it to them. Let them do their investigation, and they can comment to it. And we are just not going to comment from here because we will not even give a reaction. I'm like, not even give a reaction. I'm like, come on, man. They interfere. This is something that the president. Your house in August, and they're still finding stuff. This is something the president on has a computer since the campaign. So we're going to be very consistent. I got you. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the State of the Union. Was the president walked into his on Social Security? Come on. I will say this. the president certainly put them on the defense, right? He put the Republicans on the defense when it came to Social Security and Medicare. Look, this is something that they've been saying for months. And Rick Scott put a plan every 5 years. We want to sunset Medicare and Social Security. They've voted to increase the age of Social Security. They've been pretty consistent over the past couple of years and certainly last couple of months. And the president has said, I'm going to continue to fight for it. He said that, and some of you covered when he was in Tampa, Florida, and he said, if you dream of taking away Social Security and Medicare, I will be your nightmare. And that's what you're seeing from this president. You saw that State of the Union, a fight. He laid down what he's going to do that we've made in the last 2 years as we talk about the economy, as we talk about growing the economy from the bottom up, the middle out.
And it was at that speech in Tampa where I think there were pamphlets left on the chair of every person there of Rick Scott's.
Potentially.
Is the president willing to discuss entitlement reform separate as part of the regular budget process, separate from debt ceiling negotiations?
So we've been as it relates to the debt ceiling, we have said it is the debt ceiling. That is something done 78 times since 1960. They did it 3 times under the last president. So in a bipartisan way. So they should do that now. We cannot put the full faith and credit of our nation. We're talking about seniors, talking about what taxpayers are owed or have paid into,
right.
And it is their right to get that. So he's going to protect that. Now, on March 9th, we're going to put forward the president has said, look, he spoke to the speaker. He said, bring forth your budget in a real transcript on what you want to do. Put ours on March 9th, and we'll talk more about it. We'll see what they have to say.
So it sounds like if they do it as part of that budget process, the March 9th document that's coming out, that the president is willing to have that kind of conversation.
I'm not going to get the budget has been very clear. He's going to protect Medicare. He's going to protect Social Security. He even said during his State of the Union that he's going to, over the 10 years, put forth a budget that's going to lower it by $2 trillion. Remember, this is a president in the first 2 years that rebuilding the economy while also being fiscally responsible. That's what you're going to see from this president.
All right, we got less than a minute, but I'm going to get you on two more questions. The president renewed his call for an assault weapons ban. The 5th anniversary of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas mass shooting.
Because we're talking about 14 kids, 3 educators who were murdered, gunned down, and that we can never forget, and we should always remember them. And I know the president and the first lady have their family are going to be a big day, and we're continuing to see that in communities, at churches, at grocery stores, where we're continuing to see what is occurring with gun violence. That is why the president taken the action that he did. The first 2 years, more executive actions than any other president. It just past summer, time in 30 years that we were able to sign a bipartisan bill. He signed a bipartisan bill that dealt with gun violence in a real way. As it relates to assault weapons ban, the president's going to continue to call for it. He's going to continue to tell Congress we need to act because we have to use across the country.
And Kate Bedingfield, the White House communications director, is leaving. Ron Klain, the chief of staff, is leaving. Rumor out there that Marty Walsh, Secretary of Labor, is also leaving. Can we expect that announcement?
All I can say is Marty Walsh is still currently no announcement to make.
Okay, State of the Union is over. When are we going to hear the big speech, the Biden-Harris 2024 announcement?
As you know, I am limited in what I can say. I can't talk about politics covered by the hatchet. But what I can say is repeat what the president has